Hey guys, we made it. I'm here. Would you guys please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started so we don't waste any time here. Um, so first of all, anybody that's joining that doesn't know um, about my lives and why I'm here and why I'm not even showing my face. This basically just replaces our spaces over on X because we were having so many problems with spaces cutting out and people couldn't replay it and it was just a nightmare. So I replaced it with YouTube Live, but I'm treating it like Spaces. So basically, it's for my subscribers over on X, which I love you guys and appreciate you so much. But of course, anybody can listen to this if they want to get any information and learn some of the positions that we're in and why, and so on and so forth. So, of course, anybody's invited to listen, but it'll make more sense to the people that are subscribed because they are in the positions that we're in, and we all chat over in our Discord. So, if you're tuning in and you're not a subscriber, some of this might not make sense to you. Okay, so sorry about my voice and my nose. I'm going to be sniffing. I swear, all winter I have a runny nose. It's just so annoying. But I work in the public, so I guess it's just going to be the way it is. And hi, guys. If anybody wants to comment and say hello, I'd love to know who's here and who is. Put in your username over on Discord or X so I'll know who I'm talking to here. Okay, so I just finished like shoveling down a bagel real quick because I don't eat breakfast. So I was like, I got to eat something before I go live or I'm not going to have any energy to get this done. Do you guys eat breakfast before you trade? I just really cannot even eat before I look at the stock market in the mornings. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. Okay, so anyway, now that I've said my piece about why I'm here and with who and all of that, we can get started with the good stuff. Okay, so we have our current positions in, and I think all of us are doing very well in our positions besides MSTU and BMNU or BMNR. But actually, BMNR and BMNU did pretty well yesterday. I have 100 shares of BMNR at a $40.74 cost basis, and I sold a $41 call because I don't mind losing that 100 shares because I'm kind of heavy in BMNU right now and way down on that. So I will not be trading these BMNR anymore once I'm out of this 100 shares just because I'm so heavy in BMNU, and I just don't want to give up on BMNU yet. I really think BMNR is going to make a huge run when Ethereum does, and when it does, BMNU is going to take off being 2x leveraged. I am down almost 60% on my shares, and I have 430 shares. So it's not a great place to be in. I could take a loss right now and use it as a tax write-off. But I'm not, because I feel like as soon as I do, Ethereum's going to run back up to 4,000, BMNR is going to run up, and then BMU is just going to go crazy, and I will regret making that decision. So any of you that are in BMNU or MSTU and you are not bullish, or you it's taking up too much of your buying power, go ahead and close it and use it for tax write-off. If it's not taking up too much of your buying power, personally, I would hold. So right now, it is not taking up a huge amount of my portfolio. I have plenty of buying power left, especially once a bunch of my positions close out tomorrow, I'll have even more. So due to that, I am just going to hold. But again, you have to make the decision for your portfolio, and never hesitate to reach out and ask me what I think, because I'll be honest and I'll tell you, every trade can't be a perfect trade. I mean, I wish it could, and I wish we could just, I could throw out a trade and everybody would make money every time, but that's just not how it works. So we did really, really, really well with TSLL this year. For anybody that was in it with me, And it was really funny because someone on X was asking me about TSLL and like kind of how I did this year. And I looked at the 1-year chart, and it's actually down 18% on the year. Or it might have even been more than that. I can't remember. Regardless, it's down on the year quite a bit, even though Tesla is not down on the year. I'm going to look real fast. Oh, actually, TSLL is down 36% on the year. So a lot of people would say, well, how did you make money on it if it's down 36%? But as you guys know that have been with me here, from March to September, we stayed in that tight $10 to $12 range. And those of us that were in it we were just rolling in it. I mean, just the money couldn't be any easier. When it stays in a range like that with a high IV, we just were making money. That's it. Just sitting there making money. And I remember like sending out a message to everybody saying, I'm sorry if you're bored. Like, I know this is kind of boring because it's not doing much. It's not running up. It's not dropping. It's just sitting there. But we were just steadily collecting money. So due to that, and then come September, we had that massive run up. It literally went from $12 to $23 within like a month. That's where we made all our money. So I made a lot of money on TSLL this past year. So hopefully you guys did too, and hopefully we can do it again in 2026. But right now it's trading a little high, so obviously we can't go as heavy just in case. But we did that really well on that. Once it ran up, we switched over to AMDL. It didn't last very long before it ran up, so we only got about maybe 2 or 3 weeks worth of profits on that. Of course, we've been doing very well on BBAI. RCAT and Bull, they're all right. I mean, RCAT, we're doing pretty good. I haven't gone very heavy in it. I don't think you guys have either. So we're making decent money on RCAT. Bull it's doing all right for the wheel strategy. I think some of you were in HIMS. I've dabbled in it just a little tiny bit. And EOSE, a little tiny bit, 2 contracts to practice and see what it does. So, I mean, we've had some really, really good ones this year. And then we've had BMNU and BMNR. It couldn't be helped. Bitcoin dropped, MSTR, which caused MSTR to drop, and then MSTU, of course, to drop 2 times that. And then Ethereum dropped. So it's the way it is, especially if you're trading Bitcoin names. So for me, I'm like, okay, when I'm trading TSLL, it's directly correlated with Tesla, obviously. And it's going to move with Tesla. It only relies on the overall market and Tesla. So it's relying on 2 things. Whereas BMNU and MSTU, those are relying on the overall market because they are, actual stocks. BMNR and MSTR are actual stocks, so they will go down with the market. They're also relying on crypto, and then it's 2 times. So, you're having 3 things that it's relying on versus 2. So, they're going to be a little riskier, but I also think when crypto decides to make its run again, they are going to go wild. So if you don't need the buying power and you can hold on tight, you got the stomach for it, I would hold. I'm holding. I will also continue to average down very, very slowly. So I do have a December 19th $5 BMNU cash secured put. It's already up 71%, so I'll probably go ahead and close it soon. But I am going to keep doing that. As soon as I close that one, I'm going to open another one for $5, because if I get assigned, that would bring my cost basis down tremendously. Again, my cost basis is $26. So if I were to be assigned under $5 for 100 shares, that's going to bring that average down. So again, if you're a bull on this or any other stock or ETF that happens to drop for whatever reason, make sure you're averaging down. It's the only way you'll ever get out of it or make money on it, is if you average down. And it took me a really long time to learn that. But if you are into your stock and you understand your stock, you need to average down on it. You need to. Chris, yes, it's a black screen. I mentioned that at the beginning. This is basically just replacing spaces. So I'm not really like showing anything. I'm just kind of going over all of our current positions. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the sweet spot and how to find it on our particular stocks and ETFs. So I figure there's no reason that anybody needs to stare at my face. And I don't really need to put up any charts or anything because everybody that's already subscribed to me, we already know this. We already know these plays and where they're at. So this is just for kind of listening to replace spaces because over on X, we were just having a hard time with spaces. It would cut off and it would click out and it would replay and it was just a mess. So, okay. So current positions, let's go over those really quick. Of course, any of you guys that have any questions, just put it on there real quick and let me answer it as we go. Hi, Mary. Hi, dividend degenerates, and let's see, RZLT was amazing to watch. Okay, I'll put it on my watch list and take a look at it. MMLG, yeah, it's 11:30 where I am, and I just finished my bagel. Like my stomach is just not made for breakfast. I do drink coffee, and I put a little protein powder in it, but that's it. Okay, so let's get started with our current positions for everybody. I'm not going to go in alphabetical order. I'm going to go with our most popular. So obviously our big one right now is BBAI. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about my positions, and then I'm going to talk about the sweet spot for it and how I found it. So BBAI, I've got 1,252 shares at the moment. Now, what I'm having a hard time with is that I have a large account and a small account, and I've got them in both accounts. So I made a mistake there. I'm going to work on that for 2026. I'm going to keep certain names in each account so that I'm not divided up. It was stupid and it just didn't make sense, but I may have I don't remember exactly what happened. I may have started it in a small account and then I wanted more, so I put it in my large account, whatever. I don't know, but I don't want to do that again. I want to keep each name. So like BBAI, because I go really, really large in BBAI, keep that in my large account. TSLL, heavy, large account. And then the smaller ones like Bull and RCAT, I will keep those in my small account because I don't go super heavy in those. So I've got, money in there for those. So I'm going to reallocate a little bit at the end of this year. So I've got those 1,200 shares, 1,252. And the reason for the 52 is because I created an odd lot. And that way I can sell 100, I can sell a covered call on each 100 shares and still have those 52 just sitting there. And every time it drops under $6, I add a couple of shares. I might add 5 shares or 10 shares or whatever. Eventually that will equal 100. And then I'll start a new odd lot. So that's why the 52 was in there. Always, again, averaging down slowly because we did get that drop under 5 recently. So I was, buying almost every day. And so I've got quite a few cash secured puts at the moment. I've got 20 expiring tomorrow. A low strike, $5. I only received $10 per contract. I was testing this out. I see a lot of accounts that are very large. They will go in with a very low strike for safety purposes, but they'll do a lot of contracts. They'll sell a lot of contracts. So whereas, the most of us might do like 10, they might do 20 or even 50. Because it's a safer strike, and of course that means you're receiving a lot less premium. But if you've got the larger portfolio and the cash for it, you could go in kind of heavy. So I thought I'd try that out. So December 12th, let's see, when did I open this? I opened it on the 26th of November, and I did a $5 cash secured put, and I only got paid $10 on each contract. So it's not much, but I did 20 contracts. So as of tomorrow, I'll profit $200 because I'm not going to close it early. There's no reason to close it early. It would cost me $1, but that's $20 plus commission fees on the contracts. So I'm just going to let it expire worthless tomorrow. I doubt we'll drop all the way to $5 tomorrow. I guess anything's possible, but I doubt it. Okay, and then I've got on the 19th, I've got 10 $6 cash secured puts. It's already up 15%. On the 2nd, I've got 10 $5 cash secured puts. I received $26 per contract on those. It's up 64%. On the 2nd, I've got one $6 cash secured put because that was my trade of the week on YouTube. So any of you that aren't subscribed to me or looking at the trade of the week that I post every Sunday, that was the trade of the week. January 2nd, $6 cash secured put. It's up 10%. On the 9th, I've got 20 contracts of 550 put. It's up already. The 16th, we've got 550 puts. The 23rd, we've got $5 puts. And January, wait, why are these? Oh, January 2027. Okay, I sold one January 2027 cash secured put. I'm practicing that technique as well. I am practicing these things so that I can pass them on to you guys, and say what works and what didn't work and what I got screwed on. So whereas I would never sell a covered call that far out, ever, 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 you will get so stuck if you try that. I will sell cash secured puts that far out because you can close them early. So this one was a $5.50 put, January 2027. I received $215 on that, thinking I'll close it at 50%. It's already up 13%. So, I'm just going to let it ride. Again, it's a 550 put. It didn't cost me a lot of money, and I received 215 up front. So, it's got 200 and something dollars collateral sitting there. No big deal. So I'm going to let it ride a little longer. In my small account, I've got, I do not have any cash secured puts. I've just got covered calls against my full position over there because I want to lose those in my small account and then put more in my large account. Bull, I don't know how many of you guys are in Bull with me, BULL, but I've got 1,600 shares at a $10.66 cost basis. I did go ahead and sell covered calls against that full position because, again, I am just practicing this name. I'm not interested in holding it for a long time. I'm down $1,400, but whereas you might look at that and go, oh my God, you're down $1,400. I'm down less than $1 per share. So you have to remember, if you have a lot of shares, a $1 move makes a big deal. I've got 1,600 shares. So when it's down $1, I'm down $1,600. But when it runs up $1 above my cost basis, I'm up $1,600. So that's the main plan with these, with Bull and RCAT, because they're not leveraged. Bull, RCAT, BBAI are three big ones right now that are not leveraged. I'm only looking to make $1 move. If it can move up $1 and I'm holding 1,600 shares, I will make $1,600. So that's all I need. I need it to run up to maybe $11.50, and then you add in the premium that I've received for selling the covered calls, and I should make about $100 per lot. And a lot, it means 100 shares. So that would be a $1,600 profit. So that's what I'm looking for on this, while I'm collecting premium along the way by selling these covered calls. So tomorrow I've got 8 covered calls, $11 covered calls expiring, that I made $13 on each contract. I'm going to let them expire worthless. There's no reason to close it. I doubt we're going to run to 11 tomorrow. But if we do, guess what? I'm going to make a huge profit on those. So either way, it's a win-win. Of course, if it runs up to $12, $13, I may regret it a little bit, but it is what it is. When you're wheeling, you can't say the what if. You just got to take your profits and move on to the next trade. So I will make $104 on those covered calls for tomorrow. So while I am holding the shares and I am down on the shares, I will make $104 on 8 covered calls tomorrow. I will then sell 8 more covered calls at an 11 or 11.50 strike for a couple of weeks out, maybe the 26th. I don't know. I'll see. And of course, I'll be posting it for my subscribers on X. But that's how you wheel these stocks. You have to have a plan and stick to your plan. Your plan can be adjusted 50 cents, or $1 or whatever. That's fine. It's gonna be according to what the stock does. Hey, if Bull runs up to 10.50 tomorrow, I'm not gonna sell an $11 call. I'll probably sell an $11.50 call, $11.50 call, because I can make more on the contracts. And I can go higher with the strike. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm really trying to just push it in how this wheel works. And the wheel also means selling cash secured puts. And I'm not actively selling cash secured puts on Bull right now because I'm holding 1,600 shares. As soon as I'm out of these shares, I will consider doing it again because I can't say it's been like the best stock I've ever traded, but it's doing well. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain about it at all. Okay, so let me see what you guys say before I go on to the next one. Tech robotics, if it's 90-10 rule. I recall just saying. Okay, Mark, I like it. Mike Young. Well, thank you for joining, Mike. I appreciate it. And thank you for joining us over on X too. I appreciate all you guys subscribed. Hopefully you're learning and trading. And I know a lot of you guys are very experienced already. And I appreciate when you share your positions and entries in the chat. I think it helps a lot. And even people that don't take them can see them and, just get to know them. And also, you guys that are new, I highly, highly recommend you paper trading, whether it's my call outs or someone else's, doesn't matter. Paper trade it, see what it does. And if someone else calls out, a bad one and you've paper traded it, well, not to listen to them next time. So, it helps. It really, I cannot stress enough how much paper trading helps when you're new. It kind of sounds like, oh, whatever, but it really, really helps. Turn on the lights. No, I said this at the beginning again. I'm treating this as spaces. I usually do spaces on X, but we have so many connection problems and it cutting in and out and repeating, and people can't go back and listen to it, that I'm just doing it on YouTube now. So that's why. There's no reason anybody needs to look at my face for an hour. So that's that. All right, so our next one is RCAT. I think a lot of you guys are in RCAT with me. It's been doing very well for us. It has obviously dropped quite a bit over the last couple of months. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's still a good stock, and it's doing well for the wheel strategy. So I own shares. I own call. I sold covered calls against my shares, and I do have some cash secured puts on RCAT as well. And I had rolled some from 2 weeks ago. So any of you that had rolled RCAT, I don't want to bore everybody here, but anyone that rolled RCAT and you have them expiring tomorrow, I think it was the $9 cash secured put, you may be at break even right now and can get out without losing money or making money. And if that's the case, I would go ahead and do it. And then just open a new one with a lower strike. Like just shut it down, close it out, and then let's open like some $8 puts. But just reach out to me and I can help you if you're worried about it, or if you're gonna maybe take a small loss, that's okay, because then we can roll it and you'll make it up. So I'm still into RCAT, still a RCAT bull. That was introduced to me. That name was introduced to me by John here on in our subscription on X, and I really, really like it. So it's got a good high IV. It's low cost. I'm bullish on it, and it's a stock, not a leveraged ETF. So that's good. Although I do love my leveraged ETFs, so we know that. All right, so let's go into TSLL, our favorite of all time. I know it's been adjusted, and I'm a little bit confused because I've been trading this ETF for, 3 years now, over 3 years, and I've received dividends every quarter. I've never seen it do this adjusting thing where we can't go in and like do anything. So I don't really know. As far as I remember, I do not remember it doing this. But also, another thing I noticed is that it usually pays a very small dividend, like 8-cent dividend, which is fine. I mean, I'm not in it for the dividends. So a little extra money is fine with me. And I wouldn't hold a position to collect dividends either. So just keep that in mind. But it looks like on Robinhood, it's showing a 57-cent dividend. I don't know what you guys see on your end. Someone else said they see a $9 dividend, which would be what it would normally be. So I don't know, but a 57-cent dividend is huge for this ETF. So, hopefully that's correct. You can enter new positions now, but the current positions that you may be in, I don't think you can add to at all. I haven't tried, but I don't think you can. So it's strange. I don't know, but it will work itself out regardless. So nobody panic or worry or close positions or anything. Just let them ride. It's fine. So out of my 2,900 shares, I'm down to 200. So I have just been actively closing them out. Any of you that were on my last live, I went over my whole year of profits month by month. If you'd like to go back and listen, of course, I'm not going to go over that again. But I will brag real quick about my September and October this year. September was a 4-week month and I made $13,000. October was a 5-week month. So I made $17,800. That was 90% TSLL because of that huge run up. But in turn, back in March and April, March I was down $1,300 on the month, and April I only made $464 on the month. So those are my two big downers and two big high paying months, and all of it was pretty much due to TSLL. Back in April, May, it was the tariff news. So basically it was the whole market. It had nothing to do with TSLL by itself. It was the entire market. So, that can't be helped. But during that time, I got assigned a bunch of shares, and that is what helped me make all that money in September and October. So I'm kind of thinking, and I could be dead wrong because I cannot predict what Bitcoin is going to do, but MSTU and BMNU being down so low, all we're going to need is Bitcoin to get back up to 100,000. All the FOMO buyers are going to jump back in, especially if it can hold 100,000. Everybody's going to jump back in. It's going to run up, and then that's going to create MSTR to run up, and MSTU, since we're in that, it will run up. So we just have to wait. It is what it is. You have to wait sometimes in the stock market. It's not quick and easy money. Okay, short surf TAC. What is that? Okay, so the next one is AMDL. I know it's still a little high because we were trading it in like the $9-10 range, but it's consolidated here, and I don't think it's going to go much lower than like 14 at this point, unless we have an overall market correction, which could always happen. So I am trading AMDL again, gently, not going heavy at all. Actually, the only thing I'm actually going heavy in right now is BBAI. And TSLL would come in second. BBAI, though, I've got a lot. I think I've got about 95 contracts right now, plus 1,200 shares and some covered calls. So I'm pretty heavy in BBAI. AMDL, though, I've got 300 shares over $18 cost basis, which isn't great, but it's fine. I am down on them, obviously, because we're at 1562, but when it runs, it's going to run hard again, so I'm not worried at all. I have a $14 cash secured put expiring tomorrow that I'll make $50. I do have 3 $20 covered calls against my full 300 share position. I normally say don't sell covered calls against your full position, but my average is so high, I don't mind losing it. I don't mind losing those shares and then trying to get closer to a $14 average. I also have 2 December 26 $14 puts, and they are up 35% right now. So I'm going to let those ride. So that's pretty much the full position. I didn't go over everything in my small account because it's just small stuff, but that is the full position. And I think most of you are in some of these, or you should be. Good thing I still have my night vision goggles. Can you see me? I think you can see me with your night vision goggles. Okay, so next thing I wanted to talk about is here's something that I think would be fun if any of you guys are interested. Maybe do a $10,000 side account. Start with $10,000. You can paper trade, or you can open a new account, or you can use an existing account that maybe you don't have much money in, or whatever. But let's open a $10,000 account, clean $10,000, and let's see what we can do with it in a year. I think we can easily double it in a year if the market holds up. I'm not making any promises or guarantees. If the market stays steady, I think we could double a 10,000 account in 1 year, 1 year's time. I really, really do. I had a $6,000 account at the beginning of this year, and it is at $12,200. So I've doubled it. So if it would have been 10,000, I think I would have doubled it as well. And I'll tell you, in that account, I did get assigned shares of TSLL at 15 a while back. And I thought I was screwed. I was going to be holding them a while, and I was not. I was able to sell covered calls and make money on them, and then I lost them. So, yeah, if any of you are interested in a $10,000 account challenge, I think it would be really fun, and we could all do it together. Okay. So my plan for 2026 is to try to exit positions in my small account, and I'm going to do long dated cash secured puts in my small account. And then heavier trading, shorter term positions like I do now in my large account, and be very active in that one, and see which one does better. Because the long dated I have found I've done very well with, because I sell them way out and then close them early. So I think you guys saw 2 weeks ago I had sold some January cash secured puts, and I sold them a couple months ago. And when TSLL ran up like 2 weeks ago, I went ahead and closed them at 50% and made $1,000. So yes, I could have held till January and potentially made $2,000, but I wasn't about to give up on. I wasn't about to let $1,000 go. MMLG, yeah, let's do 10 to 20K. Yeah, I think it would be really fun. And even my paper traders, people that don't have $10,000, people that are practicing, they can open a $10,000 paper trading account and do it right with us, and just learn and see what they can do. So that's good. Any of you guys that are on here, if you don't mind giving this video a thumbs up real quick, that would be great. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I already told you I want to keep all the same names in the same portfolio. Okay, so I think you guys are all trading the same names as me. I think a few of you have a couple of other names that you're doing, and that's great. Keep it up, and I am watching those as well because HIMS was somebody in our chat, and EOSE was somebody in our chat. So I said I'll open a couple of small contracts and see how it goes. So nobody knows everything about the stock market. Now, I don't care who thinks they are, a genius or the best traders in the world. There's always learning to be done. So I learn from you guys just as much as some of you learn from me. So it all comes back around. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, I made a YouTube video on how to find a sweet spot of your stock or ETF. I will be posting it probably tonight. So I will let everybody know when it's posted, and it's going to go into detail with illustrations and examples and the whole deal. And I do show my face. It won't be a black screen. So guys, watch that, please. It'll help you. And it also, like I said, gives you examples. But on here right now, we can quickly go over it and talk about it and see what you guys think and how it all works. Okay, so for me, now everybody trades different, and everybody's going to say different things, and everybody looks at delta and theta and different. Some people, trade completely different than me, and they do just as well as I do. Hollow point, no, real quick, I'm treating this like spaces, because whenever I do my spaces over on X, we always have connection issues on my end and on other people's end. So I'm just doing this for audio and to replace spaces. I do have videos on here, and I will be posting a real video later about how to find your sweet spot. But for now, again, everybody has their different ways of trading and finding their levels and sweet spots and everything else. So I'm just sharing mine. Maybe it'll help you, or maybe you know more about it than I do, and you're better at it than I am. But for me, this is how it works for me. So first of all, the most important thing is having your watch list of at least 10 to 12. You don't need 50 names to trade. You need 10, maybe a few more if you want to watch. So I typically have 10 that I have traded in the past and will continue to trade if they drop low enough for me to make an entry. And then I have a few others that I just watch, just some extras that I keep on the side that maybe I've heard about on X, or somebody has has mentioned to me, and I keep those and I watch them. I do not plan on entering anytime soon. I just want to watch them. So I have this whole watch list, and I have shared my watch list with my subscribers on X. Everyone knows the names that I'm referring to. So from there, after I have my watch list, I create sweet spots for each watch list. So what I do is I'll go over the year chart, or actually, even if you're on Robinhood, it'll tell you. I'm going to look at TSLL as an example. Its 52-week low is 629. You can look at your year chart, or you can look at the statistics. I don't know if I'm sure all platforms probably give you this information, but its 52-week low was $6.29, and its 52-week high was $41. Do I think we're ever going to go to $41 again? No, I do not. So I would take that high with a grain of salt. Tesla would have to run very quick and very hard for that to happen again, because TSLL resets daily. It does not run 2 times Tesla. So the fact that it resets daily, Tesla would have to run up very, very quickly for this to run up to 41 again. It's possible, but not likely. And then it's dropped to $6.29. Could it drop to $6 again? Sure. Probably not, unless we have a significant pullback or market correction. It dropped to $6 during the tariff talk. So if we have some news like that where the entire market drops, that's about where it would fall to, about $6. When I first started trading TSLL, it was at $6 years ago. And it was also one and a half times leveraged, not 2 times leveraged. So there's your overall $6 to $41. Again, take them with a grain of salt, but it's good to know. It's more important to know this on a regular stock versus a leveraged stock. It's going to give you a little more insight to what the stock can do in a year. Leveraged can make huge moves, but since it's my favorite leveraged ETF, I'll go with that for this example. So $6 to $41 is where we're looking. So then from the 1-year chart, now that we know our major levels, we're going to go to the 3-month chart. For the 3-month chart, and this may not be exact because I'm just trying to give you guys an example. It has gone from 1346 as a low in the last 3 months to almost $23. So we're going to say $23 because I think it did hit 23 like just for a second. So we're at 13 to 23. So that's going to give us a range of what it can do in a 3-month time period. How much it can move. You can just kind of look at the overall chart. You can see both times that it hit 23. It hit 23 October 1st, and it hit 23 November 3rd. Both times it got rejected quickly, like right there at the 23. So you can see that it would have to really push hard to go above $23. I do think it will, and it can easily, but it really has to make a big push. It started out the past 3 months at the $13 range, but it ran up fairly quickly, and it kind of stayed. It stayed right here in the $16 to $18 range now for the past 3 months. We can pretty much agree on that. It did drop November 21st because we had a market pullback. It did drop to $15.50. But other than that, it has stayed right in this $2 range like it did last year or earlier in the year for us when it was hitting 10 to 12. So looking at that 3-month chart really tells you the range of the stock. And so, yeah, like I said, we're staying in 17 to 19, 20, right in there. So those are pretty safe. Those are going to be pretty safe ranges for you to stay in when you're selling puts or calls. And then know that if we have a pretty big, pullback, not a correction or anything crazy, but a pullback, we could drop to 15 pretty easily. So just keep that in mind. If you wanted to go safer with a cash secured put, you'd want to go to like 15 or less from where it's at right now. If you wanted to be a little more risky, you could go with like a 17, could even possibly go with a 18, but that's a little risky. If you wanted to sell super comfortable covered calls where you're not wanting to lose your shares, you could go above 23 because it keeps hitting 23 and dropping. So you'd be pretty safe selling covered calls at 23. Now, could it blow past 23? Absolutely, very easily. But chances are low because we're looking at that 3-month chart, it keeps getting rejected at 23. So those are your levels for the 3 months. Then we go into the 1 month where we're going to have a tighter range. And the 1 month is the most important for me because I usually sell my cash secured puts 3 to 6 weeks out. So with a 3 to 6 week out, a monthly chart would tell us, it'd be pretty accurate as to where we'll hit within the next, month. So our high for the month is $20.75. So we're going to say $21 for the high. The low for the month is going to be, I think my dog's about to bark, so if he does, I'm sorry. The low is going to be $15.24. So let's say 15. So we're going to go between $15 and $21. So for the month, $15 to $21. So, we can average that out and say, $17, $18 is going to be our midpoint. And that's where I would be comfortable. That's going to be my sweet spot for now with TSLL. I do not, it's leveraged. So although I can say 15 is safe, again, we're leveraged on this play. So it's not going to be as precise as BBAI or RCAT or any of those, because if we have any major move in the market or Tesla has any major move, leveraged ETFs will blow right through it. So people ask me all the time what I look at with the Delta. I do look at Delta. I definitely do. And in any of my stocks that are not leveraged, I try to go below, 0.20. But with leveraged ETFs, they'll blow right through deltas. Remember, they move 2 times. So you just have to be aware and be careful, and you have to know what you're getting into if you're trading these. So with my people over on X, my subscription, I try to make sure I do both. I do leveraged ETFs because I love them, and I know some of my people love them. Their risk tolerance is a little higher, and we go all in. And then some are like, for a while, that's all I was trading was leveraged ETFs. And they were like, can we add some stocks in here, some regular stocks? I said, sure. So that's where we've got BBAI, RCAT, and Bull. Those are regular stocks with a high IV. Again, high IV means higher volatility, which means more premium, but also means a little more risk. But these are low cost stocks. So it's not like I'm saying, hey, let's jump into a $50 high IV stock where it's going to cost you $5,000 per contract. So with BBAI, you need $500. So, I mean, worst case scenario, BBAI goes to zero and you're down $500. I mean, I think you'll make it out alive. So I'm really trying to make sure that we're covered on all bases for people that have higher risk tolerance, lower risk tolerance, higher portfolios, small portfolios, whatever. Everybody can trade with me. I will, and I try to make it very simple. I really, really try to dummy it down because I really try to think about when I first started trading 5 years ago, when I would hear things like this expired worthless, I'm like, well, why would you want anything to expire worthless? Well, because you got paid up front. So your contract expires worthless, you made money. Expiring worthless is a good thing. So I would hear all this lingo and I didn't understand it. So I try not to use too much lingo. And if I do, then I define what it means so that people can understand. I didn't know what ROI meant. I kept seeing ROI. I'm like, what the heck is a ROI? Well, it's return on investment. So I really try to make sure I'm very specific with everyone as to how much you can make, what your risk may be with this, and how much you would need up front. And also, of course, paper trade. What do you think? What do you all think of China, FXI, CQQQ? Are these like Chinese stocks or ETFs? If they are, I'm not messing with anything China, only because as soon as any news comes out about China or any issues come out with America and China, the stocks tank, and it's all the Chinese stocks. They just all take a hit, and I've done it before. But what was I in? What's the one? BABA. I was in that one time, and it was doing well, and then it got some Chinese news. It had nothing to do with the stock itself, just China in general, and the whole thing tanked, and it didn't do well. So I learned my lesson. So anyway, that's how I find my sweet spot. So you go from the 1-year chart levels and knowing why did it run to 41? Why did it drop to 6? knowing why it dropped to 6 is very important. For us, it was just the tariff news. So that's meaningless. It was nothing against the stock itself. It was nothing against Elon or Tesla. It was strictly the overall stock market. But it gives you a feel of if we have another significant pullback or we have more tariff news or any number of things that can happen, it can drop to $6. So in turn, I always tell everyone to keep money on the sidelines so you'll have room to average down if it did drop to $6. Or let's say BBAI. BBAI dropped to $2 during that tariff news. I mean, I wish I would have just loaded up. I wish I just would have loaded the boat at $2. But I didn't know, and I didn't know what tariff was going to mean for the future. Tariffs were going to mean for the future in the stock market, everything. So there was some fear there. But it tells you that BBAI could drop to $2. I mean, it'd have to be a huge catalyst, a huge market pullback overall, but it could drop to $2. So it tells you what can happen and why it happens. The chances of either one of those hitting those significant low numbers again are slim. But I mean, hey, we didn't think it was going to happen in April, and it did. So you never know. So there is the overall sweet spot of TSLL. Anyone that wants to listen from here, you are more than welcome. But I am now going to bore you with one more sweet spot because I want to use one that's not leveraged. So it can give you a little bit more feedback using a non-leveraged stock. Okay, so we're going to go with RCAT, which is RedCat. Its 52-week low is $4.58. Okay, and that was obviously during that whole tariff news. So we dropped all the way to $4.50. Its high is $16.70. I never saw it at $16.70. I was not trading it when it went that high, but wow. Okay, so $16.70. Let's see when it was at 16. October 14th. So I'm assuming maybe the whole market was up October 14th. Maybe that was a market high or RedCat earnings. Something happened to make that run up. So I'm not going to sit here and research it while I'm on here, but you should definitely know your whys. We know why it dropped to 4 because everything in the market tanked in March. So that's no surprise there. But why it ran up to 15, I'm sorry, why it ran up to 15, or 16, if anyone can tell me here, that would be great. That's what we need to know. Because then we know what the chances are of it happening again. If it was earnings, that's a good thing for the stock, and it definitely could happen again. If it was just an overall market run up, it can happen again. There's numerous reasons. So then we're going to go to our 3-month chart, and it has dropped to $6.14. And that was just a few weeks ago. That was November 20th. And I think we all kind of were like, oh, crap, because that was a pretty big drop. But it has also reached a high over the last 3 months of $15.38. So we're trading within $6 to $15. Okay, so it looks like $15 was it kind of hit there, and then it's been downhill since. But the market went down. If you look at like just even SPY or QQQ, you're going to see almost the same kind of chart, just going down from October to November. So that's normal. That's fine. So we know what's going on there. We know that it's probably not going to run above 15.50 anytime soon. So that'd be good for your covered calls. If you wanted to be safe and not lose your shares, you could sell 15.50 covered calls. With it being at 8.50 right now, you're not going to get much premium if you go that high, but you could. It pretty much after that, it stayed in a range of like $12. $10 to $12 is where my sweet spot was before it dropped. So I think even if you sold some $12 covered calls, you'd be pretty safe if you're trying to actively not lose your shares. And it's also dropped to 6. So that would tell you that if you wanted to sell some safe cash secured puts, you could sell a $6 cash secured put, and most likely you'll be safe. Of course, there is never a 100% guarantee. So just always keep that in mind. So then we're going to go to our 1 month chart, and we're going to look at a tighter range where it on November 21st fell to 588, and then it ran back up. And December 9th, it has been at $8.77. I believe that's the highest. Okay, so for the 1 month chart, our high is $8.77. So let's say $9. Our high is about $9 on RCAT for the month. And our low for the month is, let's just say $5.50. I like to kind of round it out, go a little higher and a little lower. So $5.50 to $9 is going to be our tighter range where we will be safe selling cash secured puts and covered calls. So as of right now, if you said, hey, where should I get into a cash secured put? I would tell you a $6 strike would be safe. Of course, it can always drop lower. $5.50 would be even better. If you said, where can I sell covered calls and be safe and not lose my shares? I would say $9 or more, because that's our 1 month chart. So in a 1 month time frame, this is where we're moving to. Back and forth. It's kind of going up and down, up and down. Right around 7, it seems like is, let me look at it, 7. Yeah, right around the $7, $8 range is going to be right your sweet spot for all of it. We've really, really stayed in $7 and $8. Like, it's dropped lower, it's gone higher, but then it goes right back to that. So going into the new year, of course, you never know what's going to happen with the overall market. So you just have to be careful. But I am going a little further out with my expiration dates as of right now for 2 reasons. One, I want to go into January so that, maybe I can pay taxes on some of this for next year, not this year. And also it gives you more room, and it gives you can go with a lower strike and still receive a decent premium. So keep that in mind. I will tell you, last year I did the same thing at the end of 2024. Instead of doing December expirations, even in November, instead of selling expirations for December, I went on out to January. And due to that, I ended up making $13,900 last January. Now, we'll say it was a 5-week month. So, you have that extra week in there. Obviously, you're going to make more money. But it was a lot to do with the fact that I pushed everything out till January to try to maybe, have to pay taxes in 2025, which here we are. Now it's time. So I do want to tell you guys one more thing. My account, my larger account, I started out this year with under $150,000, my account value. I don't know exactly how much. I don't know how I can look back on E-Trade. I'm sure there's a way, and if I figure it out, I'll post it for you guys. But this year, let me go to my gains and losses. For the year, starting on the 1st until now, December 10th, I made $56,300 in that account in less than a year. It'll be a year, in a couple of weeks. I'm trying to maybe get it up to 60,000. Problem with that is I will have to pay taxes on all of this. This is not a Roth account or anything. It's just a regular account. So that's not going to be fun. But regardless, $56,000 this year. My total commission and fees for contracts is $844. So I'm going to see if I can get that down some. But $56,000 on an account that started at less than 150, I'm very, very happy with. So I would really, really like to try to do that again this year or in 2026. So I hope you guys will join me, and I think we can do it again. We just have to find that one TSLL again, or continue with TSLL. So anyway, that is the whole video for today. I feel like we went over everything. Does anyone have any questions real quick before we go? If so, drop it in the comments and I will answer it. Also, you can always DM me on X or ask in our Discord chat. Do not ever feel stupid or like dumb or like anybody's judging you or anything for asking questions. Like, that's what we're here for. And I have a lot of new traders in my X subscription. So when you ask a question in the chat or out in the open, it's good for everybody to see it, because a lot of people might have the same question. And maybe they're shy or don't want to ask or whatever. So don't hesitate to ask me. No question is stupid. And every single person, no matter how experienced, had to start somewhere and they were asking someone questions. So don't be shy. Just ask the question, no matter how dumb it may be, or if you feel dumb, it does not matter. Just ask the question. It's the only way you're going to learn. Also, here on YouTube, if you have subscribed to me, you can go through my YouTube shorts, and it will answer a lot of questions in a very short video for you. So if you have a specific question, look through those, and you may be able to find the answer very quickly. So, okay, well, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys for joining. Hope you learned something here, and I will see you guys over on X and in our Discord chat. And if you have not subscribed to me on X, or it's only $4 a month, and I've got over 300 subscribers, we have a really good time. Brand new traders and experienced traders all in one. So thank you so much. I will see you guys over there.